guy you can give the ball and say, hey, go get us a bucket, go play some pick and roll, go make something happen. Now, he needs to buy in defensively. He needs to take better shots, but the talent is certainly there.
I mean, the talent, there's no doubt the talent is there. He goes into the West, which is one of the most challenging conferences to play in. But ultimately, I like the young core of this team. I guess the next question for them moving forward is, who are the veteran presences that you're keeping around them to make sure that this team continues to grow in the right direction? I think that's important when you have guys like Cat, D'Angelo Russell, and now Anthony Edwards.
Now, Anthony Edwards added to the Minnesota puzzle for the time being. And the team that will make the next selection is the Golden State Warriors. And if you happen to just be joining us as the Warriors are on the clock, word came from Woj that this afternoon, Klay Thompson, who was coming off an injury to his left ACL, injured his right lower leg, the severity of which is not known yet. So the Warriors were anticipating going into this draft with Steph Curry healed and ready to go, with Klay Thompson healed and ready to go. But now they're waiting to see how severe that injury is to Klay Thompson, and certainly we're all hopeful that it is not serious. But Golden State's on the clock right now. They have a chance to add and perhaps recharge this dynasty. What do you expect from them in light of the injury, and really how they should approach this?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of swinging in the dark here, RD, because depending upon what I'm hearing about the severity of the injury will probably shift slightly maybe to what I decide to do. I don't know if I'm getting Klay Thompson back soon or not. But look, I'm on the side of saying, hey, they were already kind of playing around with the notion of trading the pick, right? That was something that was on the table before. If you can trade the pick to a Chicago Bulls for the 4th pick and get a guy like Wendell Carter, then you get your big. What also maybe getting a guy like Danny, who we talked about before, that gives you that bigger size guard that can still defend, that can maybe do some of the things Klay could do, not shoot the ball as well enough, and buy you some time until you get Klay back.
The Warriors are really smart. And I think the one thing in light of this Klay Thompson injury, to your point, we don't know the severity of it. They know more than we do, obviously, right now. But I think you stay disciplined and you stick to your plan and you don't overreact. So if LaMelo Ball was your guy, you take him. If James Wiseman was your guy, you take him. If you were going to trade the pick and you get what you want for it, then you pull the trigger on that. But I don't overreact to this, and I think they're too smart to do that.
I think the two options here are James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball. But if you do end up moving back, another name to think about is Tyrese Halliburton out of Iowa State. I think he's a perfect fit with this Warriors group. He doesn't need a lot of volume on the ball to be effective. He's a ball mover. He really shoots it. Fits their style perfectly.
Isaac Okoro wouldn't be bad there either from Auburn.
Isaac Okoro, a guy who had a good season for Bruce Pearl last year, but the pick is in. The Warriors have made a decision, and now on his way to the podium with the selection, the 2nd overall in this 2020 NBA draft. Here's the Commissioner, Adam Silver.
With the 2nd pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman from the University of Memphis.
James Wiseman at his home in Nashville, Tennessee, played just a few games for Memphis this past season, but he goes 2nd overall to Golden State. A big, versatile guy. He has his virtual moment with the Commissioner, and he has his Golden State Warriors hat at the ready to go. He was the #1 recruit last year in 2019. Played for Penny Hardaway in high school and in college. Played 3 games at Memphis before withdrawing for the NBA draft. And you see that he was a force and he was prepared. He had people talking in the preseason last year with Wiseman and Precious Achiuwa both being at Memphis that perhaps they would run it all the way to the Final Four. It didn't unfold that way as Wiseman had a long and winding road. He credits Penny Hardaway for making him into the player he is.
Me and Penny Hardaway, we met really in my junior year. He told me just how to approach the game, how to study film every day. He taught me about the game of basketball, how to think the game, and just like how to be in the game and how to be in the moment. He would tell me a lot of stories about Shaq, just like how he ran the floor for his size, and really just me and him studying film about Shaq. If we mess up on a play or something, or like if I mess up or make a mistake, he'd be like, man, what you doing? You need to get back on defense. Or he'd be like, man, you messing up. Like, you really just messed up that play right there. Man, we gotta make this perfect. And then he would just give me a death stare, like, then I'd be like, oh man, suicide, so gotta get on the line. You have a coach that already played in the NBA, and him knowing like how the NBA plays, it helped out my game a lot, and it really impacted my game in a positive effect.
Here is Wiseman's reaction to being selected second overall. Man, you never get tired. You never cease to be amazed by the emotion and the gravity of the moment when they know it's coming, and yet still when the moment happens, it hits really deep. He's just a tremendous fit.
Yeah, he is a complete package as a big guy. 7'1" with a 7'6" wingspan, incredibly mobile for his size, and he can finish at the rim. He's got really good feet, and you can see that little turnaround jumper. He can score in the post. He can step away, knock down a 17-foot jumper. But I think he can also stretch that out to NBA three-point range. He can block shots. He is a big-time rebounder and a lob threat as well. The question is going to be, has the game changed so much that a big guy like this, who I liken to a bigger Chris Bosh when he came out of Georgia Tech in 2003, I don't think the game's passed by great big guys, and I think James Wiseman has a chance in this league to be a great big man.
James Wiseman going second overall to Golden State, and the newest Warrior is with Malika.
Thanks, Reese. James, congratulations. After everything that you've been through, both personally and collegiately this year, what does it mean? How does it feel to finally call yourself an NBA player?
I mean, all praises be to God first, but just me going through this adversity made me stronger as a person, and I'm truly ready just to go to Golden State and just to go and just learn as much as possible and just be the best version of me and just work every day.
How have those rigors prepared you for what you were going to face in this league?
It's been great adversity, just having God on my side, just leading me throughout the way, having Coach P on my side, my family on my side, and really just building my mental toughness and just creating that chip on my shoulder to where I just stay humble but just work hard every day and just leave all the praise to God.
And because of the pandemic, James, you haven't played organized basketball in over a year. What, for those who haven't seen you play, what do you bring to this Golden State team?
Just versatility, be able to rebound, run the floor, block shots, and just space the floor out for my size. And I've been playing like a lot of pickup games and stuff this summer, and like I just been really improving my game every day. So I'm ready and I'm prepared.
Congratulations, James. Reese.
Okay, Malika, so the Warriors go with James Wiseman, and the Charlotte Hornets with the third overall pick, and the pick is now in. One would assume the top three going into this draft by consensus, Edwards, Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball. Is that what the Hornets will do with the third overall pick?
With the third pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills, California.
LaMelo Ball goes third overall to Charlotte. Hey, look, this is LaMelo's night, but Lonzo still has bragging rights because he went second overall in 2017. And if you know the competitive spirit of the Ball brothers, I would say that after Lonzo gives him his time in the sun, probably won't let him forget that anytime soon. This Ball family, someone that basketball fans have become quite familiar with. Both parents played basketball in college. Lonzo and LiAngelo, both professional players as well. It has been a long and winding road for LaMelo to get to the NBA.
In ninth grade, I was Chino Hills, went 35-0. After that, Chino Hills again, sophomore year. And then left junior year, went to Lithuania. Came back, Pops created a league, did that in the States, and then had an all-star team, and then went overseas again, all overseas. And then Cleveland, went from there, and then Australia. Every time I go overseas, I feel like I learn something. So just pretty much with that, the whole living conditioning too, and playing on and off the court, I feel I learned a lot and grew from there.
The Hornets have talked about a slow build, but they may have a star, Mike.
Well, LaMelo's superpower is his playmaking. I think he's going to be one of the best passers in the entire NBA from day one. He can do it from all different angles, behind the backs, plays with a ton of flair, but he's really smooth with the ball in his hand. He has the ball on a string. He can change speeds. He can change directions. He's really, really shifty, much shiftier than his brother Lonzo. And there he is getting out in transition, showing the size there, every bit of 6'7". Not the most consistent perimeter shooter, shot around 25% from three this past season. Needs to tighten up his mechanics, but he's a shot maker. He's not afraid of the big moment. He can shoot it off the bounce. He can shoot it off the catch. He has deep range. He can create space with step back. So I really think the Charlotte Hornets got the best player in the draft here at number 3.
And they were in need of a star, too, with Kemba Walker having departed a year ago.
And this is a small market team, so they need a guy like that who they can hand the keys to.
How about a little history for the Ball brothers? They are the first brothers to be top 5 picks in NBA draft history. In fact, only one other set of brothers have been top 10 picks. That is the Short brothers, Eugene and Purvis of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, who played in high school with former NBA coach Tim Floyd, too, as well. And look at this, 1995, LaVar Ball, the Carolina Panthers.
Wasn't it LaVar that said he could beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one game?
LaVar said a lot of things.
So I'm just saying, now I have a chance since his son will be playing for Michael Jordan's team. This is going to be so interesting.
That's a great point, and could explain the pick altogether. Just Michael choosing that so he can put an end to that debate if there were really a debate. But LaMelo Ball going there, and the Chicago Bulls are now on the clock. What do you think of the pick for Charlotte?
I think it's the best available talent. I think LaMelo is a very special player. It is interesting having Terry Rozier that came there from Boston. But the star turned out this year to be Devontae Graham. Well, I thought he deserved Most Improved Player. It was erroneous the fact that he didn't get that award or get more votes. But still, now how do you get him involved in that offense? You have guys like, Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, who are part of this team. You can insert him, but I still think they still have a lot more work to do as far as, how can you create plays because they're a smaller team with 2 guards in Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham.
Yeah, he's going from Yves Saint Laurent to Alexander Julian now. But he's going to fit in well because he shares the ball, and he's such a good passer, and he takes pride in passing. But I do think, he's not a good shooter. He's got to improve his shooting and has to buy into defense.
Okay, you're going to hear from LaMelo Ball in a little while. In this virtual world, occasionally we have some technical issues, and we'll get that straightened out with the Bulls. In the meantime, the Chicago Bulls, new coach Billy Donovan, their pick 4th overall is in.
With the 4th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls select Patrick Williams from Florida State University.
Woo. There is Patrick Williams, and he's going to Chicago to play for Billy Donovan, played for Leonard Hamilton at Florida State, played for He's put a number of mature, hardworking guys into the league. Patrick Williams will be the next one. Perhaps you could say that Patrick Williams is a guy whose career is about to go into full bloom.
All right, well, you got 2 for today.
My mom actually owns her own flower shop, Charlotte, North Carolina. She's been having that business for 13 years now. I first got involved 9th to 10th grade. When I got my permit and my license, I was actually able to start delivering flowers for her, which I was making maybe $7 or $8 every delivery. And I would have maybe 10 deliveries a day. It was definitely good money coming in.
One is right across the street here, and then your next one is in park, probably about 5 minutes apart.
You just learn the type of temperature that the flowers have to be in. The car always has to be cool unless you're delivering some certain type of flowers where you might have to turn the heat on in the back. So to my new teammates, if you ever need help with any type of flowers, I'm your guy.
He's really been able to blossom as a player, Jay Will.
Look, I said this yesterday. I was like, how come nobody's talking about Patrick Williams, a guy that came off the bench, averaged 9 points, but still the size, the frame, the dexterity, his versatility, the way he can defend. Like, he can defend the multiple positions. And look, to fit with Laurie Marketing and Company, Wendell Carter, I love this move for Chicago Bulls.
So the Bulls have Patrick Williams, 4th overall, going there. Cavaliers on the clock, but now we go to Diana Taurasi, who sat down with Patrick Williams.
What's going on, Pat?
Yo!
What skill do you think you'll bring to whatever team drafts you?
I think for sure versatility. I think I can make plays at any position you put me at. in today's NBA, that's huge.
What helps you be secure with yourself?
I take it back to the group that I have around me, relying on them to make sure that I don't get outside of myself.
I love that. You have to be yourself, because guess what? Everyone else is taken.
Right.
Pat, it was great to get to know you. Thank you, AT&T. Beam me out.
Yo, that was a GOAT.
Diana just disappeared. Like, it was like you're trying to guard her. She was there, and then she was gone all of a sudden. Billy Donovan hoping that that type of mystical power will also go with Patrick Williams, who's visiting with Malika Andrews now.
Patrick, you come from a basketball family. Your siblings played. Your parents played at an HBCU. What does it mean to share this moment with them?
I mean, it's huge. It's huge for sure. First, I'm just blessed, blessed to be in this position, blessed to be here with them for sure. But also been blessed, dreams bigger than draft night. I mean, draft night for sure I'm grateful for it for sure, but there's work to be done. I'm just excited to go to, Chicago and put in as much work as I can, learn as much as I can, and just be great. Be great.
Being great is good. You are the second youngest player in this draft. You didn't start a single game when you were in Florida. What gives you the confidence that you belong on this NBA stage?
The work that you put in. I mean, if you put in enough work day to day, I mean, you can't have nothing but confidence. And then I just give the credit to, my college teammates, my college coaches. They continue to encourage me all season, to put me in positions to succeed all season. So I give the credit to, of course, my work, and then my coaches and teammates.
Absolutely. And I look forward to seeing the work that you say you want to continue to put in, waving at everyone in the back there. Reese, back to you.
I love that smile over the shoulder. Let's see if we can get a smile like that from Patrick. I bet we will soon. Cleveland Cavaliers had a tumultuous season. They are now on the clock. They have been guard heavy in recent drafts. Will they go big? We'll see when you come back.
First pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards from the University of Georgia.
My grandmother is right here, and my mother is right here. They're with me at all times.
Hey, yo, welcome to the new Chris Paul workout show. If you want to make it to the NBA, you got to have a killer crossover. TNCP crossover. Oh, Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. There's no replacing the real Chris Paul, just like there's no replacing State Farm.
Man, what happened? Who are you? I'm the new Chris Paul.
Man. We want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We're about to win an NBA championship. Gang, gang,
For every NBA moment, there's a flavor on DoorDash.
Can they play in front of empty gyms?
How are they going to keep players engaged?
We just sit here and hope that they can make it work.
Here we go!
We didn't know if we were going to get here, but we're here. Tonight, we begin this 2020 season playing in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts.
How gratifying is tonight? It's amazing to be back.
Is this as weird for you guys as it is for us?
3.7 seconds remaining.
Come on!
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Doncic wins the game at the buzzer.
NBA Draft 2020 is presented by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Man, I'll bet to the parents and the family members, all of these pictures that you see just seem like yesterday, and all of these guys, by the end of the night, We'll find out where they will start their NBA future. It's when a dream is realized, but it's really when the work begins. Cleveland Cavaliers, 5th overall pick. The pick is in. Here's the commissioner, Adam Silver.
With the 5th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Isaac Okoro from Auburn University.
Isaac Okoro celebrating, going 5th overall. Right up close to the top of the draft, like some former Auburn stars like Charles Barkley, Chuck Person, Chris Morris. There's been a great number of stars who've come out of Auburn over the years. And Isaac Okoro didn't stay in Bruce Pearl's program that long, but made quite an impact. Jay, this is a guy that you have been touting as a guy who could really be an effective NBA player.
I think he's the best wing defender in this draft. He gets down in a stance, he's got a low center of gravity, and he's really tough and disruptive. He can switch off onto anyone and guard anyone. Here he's switching off onto an excellent player that's going to be taken in the lottery, I believe, Kyrie Lewis Jr. of Alabama. Stays in front of him, able to disrupt with his length. He's got a tremendous motor, and he plays so hard. Really good in transition and really good putting it on the deck, an excellent driver and getting to the rim. He rebounds well. He's a good offensive rebounder, explosive going to the basket, can finish. The one thing he doesn't do right now, he's not a consistent perimeter shooter. He's got to become a better perimeter shooter because he really has everything else, and it shows you the value of a wing that can really defend multiple positions, can play in transition, and can put the ball on the deck and get to the rim. If he can add a jump shot to his game, I mean, he is a stud.
So Isaac Okoro joins Cleveland. Colin Sexton is there. Darius Garland is there. Isaac was coached in college by Bruce Pearl. The Auburn head coach joins us now. And Bruce, what are the Cleveland Cavaliers getting in Isaac Okoro?
You know, Reese, character counts, and he's a winner. I think he's the best defensive player in the guard and the draft. He can guard 1 through 5. In other words, he can keep little point guards in front of him, and he switches off on the inside. You're not going to big boy him. He can get downhill. He can score through contact. The ball doesn't stick in his hands. In other words, when that ball moves, if he's open, he's going to shoot it, or he's going to drive it, or he's going to move it along. And he's going to do what the coach asks him to do. You know, he's not going to come into Cleveland and go, look, this is who I am. Use me the way you want, the way I'm supposed to be used. You're going to say, Coach, what do you want me to do? He's going to go do it.
How confident are you in him expanding his offensive game and being an effective jump shooter in the NBA as well?
He's a tireless worker. He's got an incredible work ethic. He's a first-generation born in this country. Parents are Nigerian, and they've just lived the American dream. You talk about hard work and grateful for the opportunity. So he lives in the gym. He's got really good form. He's got to raise his ball flight a little bit. But he took big shots for us. He wasn't afraid of the moment. But because he's a winner and he's such a productive player, he knows he can take it to the basket, and he's going to score, or you're going to foul him, or he's going to give somebody else a shot. And that's why he's stayed away from the jump shot. If he develops a jump shot, he'll be an NBA All-Star.
Bruce, we appreciate the time tonight from both you and your beard. Thanks for being with us. Congratulations.
He's a great kid. Appreciate that, guys.
All right, my man, Bruce Pearl from Auburn, and very happy that Isaac Okoro has gone in the top 5 of the draft, and he's now with Malika Andrews.
That's right, Isaac. You are the first one-and-done basketball player in Auburn's history. What is it about your time there that allowed you to become that first?
I feel like it was just my work ethic, I stayed in the gym early mornings, late nights, always find the coach going to gym with me, just get shots up. I feel like I just got better every day.
Player in Auburn's history. It looks like you were having quite the party back there. A phrase that is often used in NBA circles is that defense wins championships, and that is what you are known for. Who are you most looking forward to guarding in this league?
Yeah, I'm just around a whole bunch of my family, my friends, everybody that's got me to this place right now. But, I'm looking forward to guarding anybody in the NBA. I'm looking forward to guarding the best players on the other team.
Absolutely. And how has being first generation, like we just heard be talked about, how has that shaped you?
it fits me well, you know. Like I just put the work in every single day. You know, I have people around my circle to help me out. And, you know, I just feel great, feel blessed to be around here.
Congratulations, Isaac. Reese.
Malika, Isaac, thank you very much. The Atlanta Hawks are on the clock right now, the 6th overall pick. Trae Young trying to transform that franchise. So what is it that you would expect Atlanta to look for? I mean, it sounds, when you have Trae Young, you wouldn't think 3, but maybe they need a 3-and-D kind of guy?
I think a player like Onyeka Okongwu, to be honest, they need some defensive help there. They need a defensive identity, and I think he's the best big in the draft. Defensively reminds me a little bit of Bam Adebayo, just with his ability to step out, switch, protect the rim, be a finisher. So I think he'd be a great target for them.
There he is, sitting and waiting to see if his name is going to be called coming up soon. The young man out of USC, such an explosive guy from his home in Riverside, California.
Yeah, I got to give Travis Schlenk a lot of love. I mean, he's done one hell of a job for this franchise. His ability to draft Jonathan Collins. You obviously get Trae Young. That's still always going to be one of those drafts. Luka Doncic, Trae Young, but he decided to go with Trae Young. Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter. You have a lot of really good, Cam Reddish, a lot of good young wings. I think having a physical presence like that to work with Clint Capella could be a really good move for them.
It certainly makes sense to go with Okongwu because of his size. He's a great defensive player. His ability to block shots and rebound at a high level. But Tyrese Halliburton also, as a point guard, would be a good choice.
Okay, so the pick is now in for the Atlanta Hawks, 6th overall. We'll see who Atlanta has selected as the Commissioner Adam Silver makes his way to the podium.
With the 6th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Onyeka Okongwu from the University of Southern California.
And here he is, Onyeka Okongwu, going in the first round, 6th overall, 2-time Mr. Basketball player in the state of California. Only the 4th guy to do that. Jason Kidd, Aaron Gordon, Tyson Chandler, all also drafted in the top 6 of the NBA draft. And here is Okongwu from his 2016 California State High School Championship team. Is that a loaded squad or what?
What?
Man.
Okongwu and the 3 Ball brothers all playing together, and they won a state championship, as you might expect. His older brother, Nnamdi, was playing alongside Lonzo Ball at Chino Hills. He would tell his teammates that the younger brother was going to be better than him on the basketball court. Nnamdi Okongwu always saw the promise in his little brother, and the little brother will never forget that.
My older brother was my best friend, and basketball was one thing that we really loved doing with one another. Nnamdi was a gentle giant. When you see him, the energy in the room would just be uplifted.
Dude, this is a really good camera.
He was going to go to Loyola Marymount.
Nnamdi with the follow.
But things happen in life. He was 17 years old and I was 13. And he just got in an accident riding his skateboard back home, and he fell and hit his head on the ground or pavement and became brain dead. 3 days later, he had passed away. I'll always keep his legacy and memory alive. Now I wear 21 for my older brother. And you see right here my bracelet, it says, "We'll never forget you, Nnamdi." And whenever I'm shooting hoops, ducking the ball, I can always feel him around me, looking down on me from heaven.
After Nnamdi passed, 2,500 people gathered at Chino Hills High School to pay their respect. You heard Onyeka say that he will never forget, and certainly that will be the case. The newest member of the Atlanta Hawks joins Malika Andrews.
Onyeka, you are wearing that bracelet right now that says, "We will never forget you, Nnamdi." How is his legacy driving you today?
I just promised myself that no matter what I do for the rest of my life, that I'm forever keep my brother's legacy alive. His life was cut short, and his little brother is here to keep his memory alive forever and always.
You've done some extensive interviews where you've never once mentioned the NBA because you said that you don't think anything is promised, and that's a lesson that your brother has taught you. But now you have a promise from an NBA team that you are going to play in the NBA. What does that mean to you?
I don't even know what to say right now, man. I'm just so blessed just to be in this position. I work my tail off to be here. And I'm just happy that God's able to put me where I'm at right now.
I want to talk to Mom, Kate. Your family has gone through an unthinkable tragedy. And yet here you are with Onyeka. What do you want him to remember most about today?
Always to be humble, to be himself, and not to forget where he's from, and just to be who he is. Continue to be who he is.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting us share in this special moment with your family. Onyeka, maybe you already knew a little bit. You're wearing the right Hawks colors. Congratulations. Reese, we're going back to you.
Perhaps just a little bit of foreshadowing. Sometimes they have a feeling, a little insight as to which team might be happy to select them, and the Hawks are putting together quite a collection of young talent there. The Detroit Pistons with the 7th overall pick, and that pick is in. Here is the commissioner.
With the 7th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Killian Hayes from Lakeland, Florida.
Killian Hayes, with his folks, his dad played for 3 years at Penn State. And Killian getting his moment, and he is headed to the Detroit Pistons as Wayne Casey and company try to find some guys to build a franchise around. What do you think of this pick, Mike?
He's extremely crafty. He's one of the best pick-and-roll players in the entire draft. He has great size at 6'5", and he gives them a point guard of the future, a guy that they could hand the keys to and say, be the engine for our offense. He's extremely crafty as a playmaker. He's great in pick-and-roll, getting to his left hand. He can hit the pop man. He can pass it off the dribble with either hand, on the move, tremendous in transition, does a great job of using his body as well. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's extremely crafty inside the paint, draws comparisons to D'Angelo Russell at times. Now, he needs to improve as a perimeter shooter, only 27% from three over the course of his career, but there's a lot to like about his long-term upside.
So Killian Hayes, who at times wanted to come back to the United States and play high school ball, maybe play in college here as well. Dad wanted to forge a different path for him, and it has paid off with him being the 7th overall pick of the Pistons. And now the New York Knicks are on the clock with the 8th overall pick, a franchise that almost every year we wait and see what are they going to do. The New York Post headline, Kristaps Porzingis didn't last there, ended up being traded away. Some high-profile free agents that really wouldn't give them the time of day. We'll see if the Knicks can find a way out of this malaise as they've changed coaches, they've changed front offices, they've frustrated their fans, even their most prominent ones at times who've grown weary of waiting. And they finally think that maybe Tom Thibodeau is the one who can turn things around. So what do the Knicks need to do here, Jay Will? You followed this closely. You're a New York guy.
Tyrese Halliburton. That's the answer. I mean, this team from the guard position, obviously you have R.J. Barrett, who I thought people, thought he was going to have a bigger year. But still, go through your rookie year. It's challenging. You think Peyton is there from the guard perspective, but they need somebody who can handle the ball and make everybody else's job easier, and that is Tyrese Halliburton. There's no doubt about it.
He's the best available prospect, I think, Tyrese Halliburton. The other I would consider is Devin Vassell of Florida State, another guy whose long arm can defend, can really score, and I think has been undervalued. He would be a good, but Denny Avdia is a good pick there as well. So there are a number of really good options at 8. Because of some of the surprises we've seen, New York's going to get maybe a better player than they had anticipated.
What's been the biggest surprise so far from what you've seen from the first 7 picks?
I think Hayes going above Halliburton is a bit of surprise. I have Halliburton as a projected top 5 pick. He's a top 5 prospect for me. And so I think he would fit perfectly, like you guys said, alongside R.J. Barrett. So I think he was a ball-dominant guy who's really good in pick and roll.
And Patrick Williams at 4 is a surprise. I mean, going that high, that's a surprise. I'm not saying it's not right, but it's a surprise.
And I will also say, all this talk you hear around New York, it's like, bring Russell Westbrook to New York City. And I would say, don't do that. If you have a chance to get a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, you go that way, you keep building to the draft, and you take your time. You stay the course.
You mentioned Patrick Williams, and if it's Devin Vassell, Florida State would have 2 then in the top 8 if the Knicks were to go in that direction. Patrick Williams going 4th overall. That's ties the great Dave Cowens as the highest draft pick in Florida State history. With Tom Thibodeau there, any concerns about dealing with rookies there? Sometimes that's been challenging historically. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns has spoken up about it. Other players have as well. I mean, look, Jimmy Butler is one of the few players in the league that loves Tibbs and the way he prepares. But I will say this for Tibbs. You know, the way they've constructed this team in New York with Worldwide West and Leon Rose and the pieces they have around, you feel like everything's moving in the right direction. I do feel that Tibbs, you know, is a guy that wants to lead, and I think he can lead the right way. There's no doubt about it.
That's the really hard thing about the draft is you only get rookies out of it.
Well, sometimes they trade the picks away because they don't want them, which is the point, Mister. You can't get snarky.
It's only JB.
Hey,
it's only the
they got
eighth
Patrick Ewing out of the draft. That worked out. He was a rookie. It worked out.
Sometimes the coaches need to listen to certain rookies. If you have the talent that Patrick Ewing has, then maybe the coach is the one who adjusts, because it is a players' league after all. And you know, maybe you look for a guy with a little bit more maturity, a guy who can handle the spotlight that is inherent with playing in New York City. The pick is now in for the Knicks, 8th overall. The commissioner, Adam Silver.
With the 8th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Obi Toppin from Dayton University.
What an emotional moment for the Dayton Flyer. Getting a round of applause from Adam Silver. It wasn't really that long ago that this would seem to be an unthinkable turn in the career of Obi Toppin, who was lightly regarded, if regarded at all, as a recruit coming out of high school. He is absolute showtime. He didn't have any Division I scholarship offers, and he went on to win the Wooden Award. It took him a while to be able to fly high enough to do some of these things that we've been able to enjoy. It wasn't always about playing above the rim.
I didn't start dunking until later in life. Little baby Obi didn't dunk until he was a senior in high school. I had the little baby rims that I was dunking on, and it took a while for me to dunk on the 10-foot rim. So me going from 6'2" my junior year to 6'5", me being able to dunk my senior year, it was definitely something I had to get used to. When I had that first dunk, I knew right away there was no more layups. I feel like dunking the ball for anybody, it just brings a different type of energy to a team. I'm putting on a show for everybody. I wasn't always this good at dunking.
He's the highest career field goal percentage by an AP Player of the Year. That is some pretty significant company that Obi Toppin is keeping there with Big Lou, Big Bill, and Zion Williamson. He is with Malika.
Obi, your mother recently said that if you had told her 5 years ago that you would be an NBA player.
I wouldn't believe her. I swear to God, I wouldn't believe her. This is... I'm sorry. Damn, bro.
Christine,
I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry. She said that she would have thought it was an April Fool's joke. How do you process this leap that you've made that has catapulted you to be an NBA lottery pick?
It's a blessing. I want to thank God. Without him, I would not be here. Without my parents, I wouldn't be here. Without my teammate right here to the left of me, I wouldn't be here. I appreciate you, bro. Jalen Crutcher, shout out to Jalen Crutcher. I wouldn't be here without him. My coaches right here in the back, Coach Grant, Coach Greer. I would not be here without them. So I'm very grateful, and it's a blessing to be in this position. So.
If being drafted wasn't special enough, yep, that's right. Point to that hat one more time. You are coming home. Why is it so important to you to be putting on a Knicks jersey?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Why is it so important to you to be putting on that jersey?
I'm from New York. That's why it's important. Me repping my city it's amazing. A lot of people pray to be in this position, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I promise you that.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. Hopefully we get to see you at Dykeman or one of those parks on the street soon a little bit too. Reese.
Malika, thank you very much. His dad, Obadiah Toppin, was also known as Dunker's Delight from the And One mixtape tour. Avery Morjanowski joins us now. Woj, what do you have on Obi Toppin and the Knicks selection at number 8?
Reese, as emotional as Obi Toppin was to be drafted by the Knicks, they really, really wanted him. They had thought they might need to move up in this draft. They worried Cleveland might take him at number 5. But as it turns out, he got to them. This is a player that Leon Rose, the new president of basketball operations, had targeted, had wanted all along out of the mighty Atlantic 10 Conference. And they got a player who they see, coming in, impacting them right away. And this was for the Knicks exactly how they hoped to script it.
Woj, I just have one other thing. First of all, thanks, because I was so afraid you were about to tell me the pick was on the move right there. Thanks for not doing that. And you said the mighty Atlantic 10. Is there another institution that you're fond of that's in the Atlantic 10?
Yeah, my St. Bonaventure Bonnets. We'll have some lottery picks here soon. I'm glad to get Obi Toppin out of the league, though, right now.
All right, Woj giving us a great insight on why the Knicks have chosen Obi Toppin, who grew 7 inches from his junior year in high school to what he is now.
Yeah, he was a 6'2" guard in high school, but he's an explosive athlete that can finish at the basket with either hand, a rim runner, a lob threat. Shot 77% in transition and can really get out and run. Tends to leak out early at times, but his finishing ability, he reminds you a little bit of Amari Stoudemire with the way he plays. Tip dunks, lobs. There he is running the floor and can dunk it with either hand. Had 107 dunks this last year. That led the country. You threw it up there. He went as high as he needed to go get it. He can step away and shoot it from 3. Shot just under 40%, so he can pick and pop. He can pick and roll. The only question is his lateral quickness getting out to guard pick and roll. He's got to improve there.
Okay.
I love Obi Toppin. I just don't know if I love him with the Knicks with the logjam of bigs that they have.
Okay, the Wizards now making the pick 9th in the draft, and the pick is in. Here is Commissioner Adam Silver.
With the 9th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Deni Avdija from Herzliya, Israel.
So Deni Avdija, a guy that we've talked about a lot in our coverage leading up to the draft, goes in the top 10, 9th overall to the Washington Wizards, youngest ever to play for Maccabi Tel Aviv at the age of 16. You've talked a lot about him, Mike. What exactly are the Wizards getting here?
I think this is going to be the steal of the draft, to be honest. I think Deni Avdija, when we look back 5 years from now, we're going to see a guy who could be the best player even to come out of this draft. And it starts with his basketball IQ and his versatility. He's tremendous in the open court, and he has great size, 6'10". He's a fiery competitor, 225 pounds. He's tremendous getting downhill to his right. He's great attacking closeouts. He can really facilitate, and an underrated defender as well. He's very multi-positional on that end of the floor, and he can put you on a poster in space. He's really improved as a perimeter shooter as well. He can handle the ball. I think he has a chance to become not just a 3-and-D type of wing, but a guy who can also be a secondary playmaker as well. I love his upside.
So Deni Avdija going to the Wizards, where he'll join John Wall, hopefully healthy, and Bradley Beal, who hopefully for Washington fans will stick around there. And this is what the Wizards are getting, a guy who says he speaks 2.5 languages, learned English by watching television and playing Call of Duty. As it turns out, he is quite fluent in basketball thanks to his dad.
My father is Zufar Avdija. He was born in Kosovo in Serbia. He was a Yugoslavian national team player and played also a lot of years in Israel. My dad was never my coach. We didn't really get along on the court. I was just getting into basketball, and I remember I missed like 4 shots in a row, and my dad was like, "Yo, that's not a real shooter mentality. How do you miss 4 in a row?" And I remember me getting super angry, kicking the ball, but it made me strong. He raised me up to be a great competitor and a killer on the court, and that's why I turned to be a fighter.
Denny, what a special night for you and Israeli basketball. What does it mean to you to be the highest ever drafted Israeli prospect?
I mean, first of all, it means a lot for me. Israel is a small country, didn't provide as many NBA players, and for me to represent my country and be in the highest spot possible, that's amazing. And I'm super excited and ready to get my game to the next level, and we'll see what happens.
You've been described as the Prince of Tel Aviv. What message do you want to send to your friends, your family, your fans at home?
I truly love them. I love the support. I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to work 100%, and I just love you. So thank you for all the support in this past season and in this off season too.
Thank you so much for your time, Denny. And Reese, it looks like they already have the wine behind them to celebrate.
Well, you might as well celebrate. It is quite worthy of celebrations. We take a look at the 3 to watch brought to you by Mountain Dew as we have reached the 10th pick. Suns are on the clock. Top shooter remaining in the draft, Vanderbilt's Aaron Nesmith. Some believe perhaps the best pure shooter anywhere in this draft in 2020. Top perimeter defender Devin Vassell of Florida State. His teammate Patrick Williams has already gone off the board at 4th overall to the Chicago Bulls. And the top scorer, Cole Anthony, who had injury-riddled and up-and-down season for North Carolina, who will take the former Tar Heel.
This holiday, give them a gift they will never, ever forget.
It's huge! In 3, 2, 1. What is that? I'm out.
The gift of furniture. Kids just don't understand.
Get Bob's discount.
Gift cards available at mybobs.com. The frigid terrain of an untouched winter. Underneath this blanket of snow, a mystery awaits to be... Whoa! The Acura Season of Performance event is on now. Don't miss it.
Visit your Delaware Valley Acura dealer for attractive offers on the RDX.
George Floyd, he lost his life to police, and it was unnecessary. It was very tough to see that because it could have been anybody. And I wanted to use that to show I really care. And I went out to protest in Chino Hills because I care so much. Black lives really matter, you know, not just in America, but everywhere. You know, in America and Nigeria, you know, Black lives matter.
Players on the professional and collegiate levels finding effective ways to use their voices for social justice and causes that they believe in. 9 picks have been recorded so far. Phoenix has the 10th overall selection in this 2020 NBA draft, and the pick is in Valley of the Sun.
With the 10th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Phoenix Suns select Jalen Smith from the University of Maryland.
Jalen Smith.
So Jalen Smith out of Maryland averaged a big double-double and 2.5 blocks per game last year, was shooting about 54%. And there is Jalen celebrating there. His parents were going to make sure that they attend his game because Dad spent a lot of time away as a kid.
I was originally born in Portsmouth, Virginia, due to my father being a naval officer. After a while, he was stationed in South Carolina. It was off and on sometimes because sometimes he had to go out to sea, so we wouldn't see him for like months. It was tough, but he was always on the phone with us, making sure that we kept our grades up, making sure that I was taking care of my mother and sister. And he, even though he wasn't there, he made sure that he was a part of our lives. He kept that strict rule in the household. Wake up every morning, everything is neat, everything is clean around the house. Now I'm on my own. I wake up every morning on the weekends and I start cleaning. It's just like something that just naturally happens. But it's gonna be an amazing thing just knowing that he watched me become the man he helped me become, and just knowing that I achieved my goals that I wanted.
Impressive young man to talk to, delightful guy to be around. When he got to Maryland, they called him Sticks. He weighed maybe $195. It's probably generous. But after moving up to 225 pounds when he left Maryland, they stopped calling him Sticks and started calling him Logs. So he got a little more size to it.
Well, he is a talented floor spacing big man that can block shots and rebound. He can block shots with either hand, whether on the ball or weak side coming away from the ball, and a really good rebounder, but an excellent scorer with really good feet. You know, he can pick and pop, makes a lot of trail threes, and shoots a good percentage. Shot 54% from the field. He had 21 double-doubles this year, averaged over 15 points and over 10.5 rebounds, blocked almost 2.5 shots per game. So he can fill up a stat sheet, and he's very fluid with a great motor, can really change ends, and his pick and roll instincts are excellent. He had a lot of pick and roll with Anthony Cowan Jr. and just did a great job with it, either rolling or popping. It's a really good pick by Phoenix, and a player that's going to continue to get better and better.
What a cool moment there. You see the emotion from Jalen Smith and his dad, Charles, that you saw the story about, a naval man who's also a diehard Lakers fan who just saw his allegiance change to the Phoenix Suns, who select Jalen Smith for the 10th overall pick. San Antonio is on the clock with the 11th overall pick. They had a run of 22 consecutive playoff appearances. The last time they missed the playoffs, things were a little bit different. Gas cost $1.22 a gallon. Titanic was in the theaters. You see David Robinson, who was hurt. He played in only 6 games, and so that brought them to a position to be able to make the draft. Number 1 overall selection, they took Tim Duncan. 22 consecutive postseason appearances after Duncan arrived there, and including in that 5 championships during the run. Just seems like a different world. Foreshadowing. Hey, how good is our crew to get that picture of the gas just after I mentioned it? And Titanic, too. It felt like the Titanic to Spurs fans not making the playoffs this year. Tiger Woods won his first major, a Masters, got a green jacket. You know, they only have 1 green jacket. You only have 1 no matter how many times you win the Masters. And then Cuba Gooding Jr. won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, playing Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire. So the Spurs are on the clock. You're incredulous that Tyrese Halliburton has not been taken. And in the break, I said to him, that's okay. They're just waiting to let the Spurs do it and work their magic in this area of the draft.
I mean, if there's one team in which has had great point guards from Tony Parker and company and guards, Manu Ginobili, who understand how to play in the pop system, you would think that Tyrese Halliburton would be the perfect fit for them. Even the likes of DeJounte Murray, Derek White, him kind of piecing together with their size and length, that could be scary to see.
He's a perfect Popovich point guard. You know, he values the basketball, he shares it, moves it all around, and he's great in transition as well. I mean, there's a level of excitement watching him play. I got to see him out in Greece with the under-19 USA basketball team, and he looked like a young Jason Kidd at times, just getting guys off in the open court and then making open shots. So I love his game right now, one of the more ready players in this draft.
Yeah, the most complete player and the best prospect still on the board. But, you know, another Sadiq Bey of Villanova wouldn't be a bad choice here either. There are a number of ways that I think San Antonio could go, but Halliburton is number one on the best available list.
The common thread between those two guys would be they feel like Spurs-type players because of their maturity and attitude and demeanor.
They know how to play, and
they
know how to play, and it's not about them. And they're willing to play their tails off to win. Yeah, absolutely.
The clock winding down, you see.
Since you can't be live, degree.
Best available players, led by Tyrese Halliburton from Iowa State, Devin Vassell from Florida State, Anthony Neesmith, and Kyra Lewis Jr., the point guard from Alabama, who has incredible speed, but not the biggest guy in the world. Will it be Halliburton that goes off the board? We're winding down for the Spurs to make their pick and waiting to see it be a little bit longer until we get it in. You wonder if San Antonio's trying to do something with this pick or if it's just a logistical thing.
We're also looking at Devin Vassell. I think that's another guy that they need to take a long, hard look at just because of his length, his defensive versatility. He gives them a two-way guy on the wing and someone who shot over 40% from three this past season. He's a late bloomer, so they could really turn him into something down the road.
The Spurs picking 11th overall, and unfamiliar position coming off a season in which they didn't make the NBA playoffs. And Popovich was talking about how he didn't really care about all of the streaks that came to an end that all of the media guys wanted to talk about, but he was proud of the way his team competed down the stretch, and now they'll be able to add a piece, whoever that might be, coming up in just a few minutes. And it looks as if now the pick is in for the San Antonio Spurs, 11th overall, and we'll see what Popovich and the Spurs are doing now. They've worked their magic. They've taken guys Ginobili, Parker, Kawhi Leonard. Here's the commissioner, Adam Silver.
With the 11th pick in the 2020 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Devin Vassell from Florida State University.
The second Seminole of the night going off the board. Devin Vassell joining Patrick Williams, his teammate at Florida State, as lottery picks, and Vassell is going to the San Antonio Spurs. But that hat's fitting just about right now. He is in his home in Brazelton, Georgia. Look at Devin Vassell. Look at the face. Look how young. That was 6 years ago. Guys grow up quickly these days, don't they? Elite on the front of the jerseys. Elite, a good adjective for his game as well. And let's take a look at our player comparison brought to you by Dell. He is an analytics guy that the analytics lovers love Devin Vassell.
Yeah, his efficiency, his steal and block rates. And this is a guy who made a huge jump. I don't think anyone expected him to really be a lottery pick this early in his career. And he's exactly what the NBA is looking for. They want guys who can guard multiple positions, who can make open shots. And really, we haven't seen this type of productivity and efficiency since Anthony Davis. So that's pretty good company to be in.
Obviously a different type of player than Anthony Davis, but the dominance and the productivity are similar.
No question. He is rangy. He is versatile. He's a two-way player. He's an excellent defender. I think the second best wing defender in the draft behind Isaac Okoro of Auburn. He's very good on the break, shoots 71% on the break, a 41% career three-point shooter. He had over 40 threes, over 40 steals, and 25 blocks this season. He led Florida State in everything. The guy is going to be an outstanding NBA player.
Second guy taken tonight, not really ranked as a recruit coming out of high school, and turns into a lottery pick, Malika.
Exactly. You were not necessarily seen as a